Hey, what is up, Internet? Kyle here, Syndi-Comics, finally getting to do another issue of the Syndi-Comics Pool List. As my good friend and Syndi-Comics moderator BJ pointed out, I have unfortunately not done one of these in 2 weeks. Life's been a little bit crazy, just haven't had much time to read anything. Wanted to point out a video of me reviewing kind of the aesthetics of the new Dark Knight Returns hardcover box set that DC just put out. Unfortunately, I didn't get to last week, so 2 weeks without a video. Really sorry about that. But things are starting to get back to normal, so from here on out, other than maybe C2E2 weekend, but I'm going to be doing a ton of C2E2 coverage for Syndi-Comics. There may be a gap in that week, but from here on out, no more gaps. There's going to be a review every week, and starting with this week. I'm super excited to get back into it. And the book I want to take a look at today from Image Comics is Crosswind. Now, Crosswind is actually a co-created book by Gail Simone and Kat Staggs, and lettering on the book is Simon Boland. Now, initially, I actually picked this book up because of Gail Simone. I'm a big fan of her writing. I really like her run on Wonder Woman, and I also love the Vertigo horror title Clean Room that she created. I thought that was absolutely brilliant. I was super excited to give another creator-owned book from her a chance. And what we get in Crosswind is basically the story of Freaky Friday. We've all seen the movie. I think they've remade it, 5 or 6 times at this point. So basically what we get in that movie is a teenage girl switches bodies with her mom, and they have to live out each other's lives, and they learn, a little bit about each other. All nice and dandy. This is basically the exact same thing, just instead of a teenage girl and her mom, we get an abused housewife and a hitman. And what we get is both of these characters actually trying to find out and figure out how to live in the other one's shoes, and since it's both lives that they are not accustomed to at all. And we get a ton of twists and turns, and just a lot of cool stuff happens in this book. And I will be honest with you, this book really didn't grab me until issue 3. The first 2 issues, both characters are thrown into very high intensity situations, and I honestly thought we weren't going to get any sort of character development, anything like that. We were just going to get basically the housewife with this amazing hitman right off the bat, and this hitman was an amazing housewife right off the bat. I didn't really care for that because I think what works for things like Freaky Friday is you really start to develop the characters, you get to understand how they become their true selves in these situations that they are not used to, and we didn't really get that in the first 2 issues. It was just a lot of action, it was just people were put in very tense situations, which was cool, but it didn't really give them time to breathe, to really kind of develop those characters. Once issue 3 hits, that's where that all shines perfectly. And we just get some amazing character development for both characters as they truly kind of discover who they are, what they're capable of, what they've always kind of wanted in life, and how they can change their situations that they've been put in. And I mean, it was just absolutely brilliant seeing these 2 characters grow and how they kind of work in the situations they're placed in. And another thing I absolutely loved was, now some of the story is kind of predictable. So like you have a hitman going into an abused housewife's body. Obviously he's not going to put up with those type of things. And then you obviously have a housewife that's a little bit timid going to a hitman's body. She's not going to be comfortable with some things. So there were a lot of things that were kind of predictable, but the overall arcs were not predictable at all, which I loved. Because I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, this is gonna happen. It did happen, but then all of a sudden I'm like, okay, so this is probably gonna happen, and then like nothing close. And Gail Simone did a wonderful job throwing in some fantastic arcs. Like I said, the character development is brilliant in my opinion. Both characters really set out to find themselves, and I think she does a wonderful job just kind of showcasing that. And it's, like I said, the ending I did not expect at all. There's so many twists and turns. It's fantastic crime drama. And if you're a fan of crime novels, crime books, those type of things, this has some amazing twists and turns, which is what you want in these type of books. So now there are some things that I didn't really care for. One, the art is very good. It's a very gritty style. It fits the tone of the book fantastic. There are a lot of panels that really kind of convey energy, that really push the story along. But the way that the panels are laid out, there was a lot of pages that I just kind of felt confused on how to read it. So I don't think there's really a single page of just your typical panels across, from left to right, just what you normally read. Everything's kind of a splash page with little panels kind of spread throughout. There were quite a few times where I read them in the wrong order. It didn't really take away from the book or anything like that, but it got a little bit confusing. And there was also a couple times where, since it is more grittier, kind of stylized art that looks really good, like I said, it fits the tone of the book, but there were a couple of times where characters just kind of looked the same, and I didn't know exactly who was who until they actually said a name. So I got lost a couple times of kind of exactly what was going on, where I had to kind of reread pages and things like that. Overall, the art is fantastic. Just be kind of advised, make sure you're kind of reading as carefully as you can, because it is a little bit easy to get confused. There are also a couple characters that you really don't understand kind of what was going on with them. I would have liked that to be developed just a little bit more. Now, the only other thing I didn't really care about the book, and this is going to sound really dumb because it's a book about switching bodies, which is really out there anyway, But the kind of reason and the cause of the body switch, the mastermind behind it all, I thought was just a little bit, I don't know, like a little bit too out there. It could have been just like this like supernatural like coincidence, but they actually put a very specific reason. Why I understood the reason and I understood the character's motivation behind it. It kind of turned it into like a Saw type movie where they're trying to like teach a lesson, and I don't know, like that just felt a little bit odd, especially how that character is kind of drawn out. It just felt a little bit awkward in my opinion. Yeah, but we're dealing with a book about switching bodies, so it's going to be a little bit out there. It's going to be a little bit awkward, but that was something else that I was just kind of scratched my head just a little bit about. But the ending of this book, like I said, is fantastic, and the way they conclude the arc with the kind of overall mastermind, fantastic. Absolutely brilliant. So all that being said, I absolutely love this book. It's not a perfect book, but it's a dang close one. It's outside of Kill or Be Killed. This is probably one of my favorite crime books I've read in quite some time. Gail Simone and Kat Staggs absolutely nailed it. Like I said, I did have a couple issues with the art and things like that, but overall, nothing major. This was a fun read. It was a quick read. I felt engaged the entire time, especially once issue 3 hit. I can't recommend this enough. I'm gonna give this a 4.5 out of 5. If you're into crime stories, if you're into kind of hitman, mobster, organized crime with a new twist, definitely pick up Crosswind. It kind of felt like this actually was going to be the whole thing, but at the end it says Crosswind will return. So there's going to be another volume. I'm super intrigued to see where Gail Simone and Kat Staggs takes this. So yeah, Crosswind. Highly recommended, especially if you like crime novels. Go pick it up now. Should be available wherever you buy comics. So that is going to do it for my review of Crosswind by Gail Simone and Kat Staggs. I want to thank you guys so much for checking out these videos. It really does mean a lot to me that you guys are watching them. Hope you guys are enjoying the Syndi-Comics. I know we're all having a blast doing the live streams and moderating the page. We're getting a ton of awesome conversation, which is just awesome to see. So I hope you guys are enjoying the Syndi-Comics. If you're watching this on my YouTube channel and you're not a part of the Syndi-Comics, I do have a link to the Facebook group in the description below. So make sure you check that out. Join us. We'd love to have you. And next week, another review, 5 p.m. on Sundays. Every Sunday, I will be reviewing a trade. So look for that next Sunday. Sorry for the delay, guys. Glad you're still with me. And that's going to do it for me this evening. Thank you guys so much for checking out these videos. And I'll catch you guys later. See ya.